I really want to buy my boyfriend a ring as a surprise, but I can't figure out his ring size. How can I do it? Story 1. Wait until he is asleep, anesthetize him, cut off his finger, and bring it to a jewelry store. It is really simple. Story 2. Create a story about something you saw on Instagram. The size of a ring directly correlates to shoe size or something similar. Mention that it worked for you, but you want to verify with a man since they typically have larger hands and feet. Use paper or string to measure around and then assess that measurement. Story 3. Put your finger inside and remember the sensation. Then go to the ring store, insert the ring, and adjust until you find one that feels the same. Story 4. You can get a paper ring size measuring tape and put it around his finger while he is asleep. I printed one out online, but I am sure a jeweler would have one. I took one of my wife's rings, placed it on my finger, marked where it fit on my hand, and measured from there. Story 5. Find his identical hand twin. This hand is your hand. This hand is my hand. Oh wait, that's your hand. No wait, it's my hand. Story 6. The thing to remember is that men can be oblivious. Any unusual or half-hearted excuse you come up with to measure our finger, we will accept without a second thought and won't be suspicious at all. If he questions it, just say it's a social media trend. Story 7. Buy an inexpensive ring with a known size and pretend you found it lying around. Jokingly make him try it on his ring finger. This should give you some indication. Story 8. Get your ring size by comparing your hands with his to see how much larger his hands are than yours. Take your best guess based on that. Talk to the jeweler about it. Most rings can be resized. I personally think it's sweet. My wife did something similar. She got a size 12 and I am a size 13, so she got pretty close. Story 9. I wasn't subtle at all when I did this. I ordered a ring sizer and approached him, asked for his hand, and found the size that fit. Subtlety is not my greatest strength. Story 10. Go out and invite him for a couple of drinks. On your way home, pass by a jewelry store, bring him in just for fun, and make a game of trying on rings. Once he finds one that fits, subtly ask the store assistant for the respective size. I did the same thing to find out my fiancé's size, and it works like a charm. Story 11. Just get a ring sizer for yourself and make him guess your ring size, then try to guess his. Now you both know each other's sizes and you might get a cool ring too. Story 12. There are two scenarios. Either get a ring he already has, or he may not wear rings and might not know his ring size. Additionally, he may not wear a ring that was a gift. My family has spent too much money on jewelry that I have never worn and will never wear. Story 13. Put on red lipstick. When you're feeling playful next time, kiss his fingertips. Slide each finger in and out of your mouth. After you do the ring finger, open your eyes wide as if something is wrong, and then slide that finger out of your mouth without changing your lip position. Press a paper towel to your face, creating an image of how full your lips were when they were around the finger you want to place the ring on. Then cough once. Say you suddenly felt like there was something in your throat, but everything seems fine now. Take the paper towel to the jewelry store. Story 14. The way I tried to get my fiancé's size was by using calipers that I bought online at a low price. While she slept, I attempted to measure the width of her finger by hovering the calipers over her finger in different increments. It was challenging, but I managed to get it right. Once you have the width of the finger, select a ring 1.5 to 2 sizes larger than the measurement you took. I didn't follow that second step, and sure enough, it was too small. After consulting with a jeweler, we went to get sized and discovered that both of us were 1.5 to 2 sizes larger than the width of our ring finger or knuckle when compared to the inside diameter of the ring that would match. Story 15. Time machine. Go back and do whatever it takes to make his parents have twins, and then ask his twin brother. If that's not possible, use the future machine to find out if there is any twin-making science being developed. If not, you should pursue mastery in the field. Learn it, get published as a bonus, and then return to the time machine to ensure the twin scenario. You're welcome. Story 16. Get inexpensive rings of various sizes and try fitting one on him while relaxing. Just say, "Oh, my ring would look great on you." Story 17. You could tie a string onto his finger to be cute, like saying, "I got you something," and then take it off but keep it tied. Story 18. Tell him you want to measure him for a ring, and then while he's confused about that, measure his ring finger. Story 19. The idea of measuring someone's finger is good, but you should add more measurements such as the forehead, pinky toe, and ring finger. Story 20. Make him a ring out of a Kit Kat foil wrapper when you are sitting together. Place it on his finger playfully, then take it back later. Story 21. Compare both of your ring sizes. If you plan on staying with him, it will be good for him as well when that time comes, of course. Story 22. Sorry, I'm playing devil's advocate here. You could measure one of his existing rings or take it to the jewelry shop for measurement. If he doesn't have any rings already, why do you think he would want one? If it's for you to propose or something, many shops offer a free resizing service. Story 23. Try to place something on his finger. When he says it doesn't fit, respond with, "Then what size would fit?" If you handle this well, it might work. Story 24. Measure all his fingers on both hands and tell him you are ordering a custom set of brass knuckles, ninja claws, armored gauntlets, or whatever for his birthday or Christmas. Story 25. Give a ring sizer to his mother. She leaves it out and then he asks what it is. Then he measures himself. She does it for confirmation. I met someone who did this for her fiancé. Story 26. If he is a heavy sleeper, just wrap a string around his finger, mark the spot, and take that to the store. If he is a light sleeper, have a busy day and give him enough to drink so he will sleep soundly. Story 27. Go to a jeweler to look at necklaces. They will ask if you want your ring cleaned. You should also have your ring cleaned. Inform the person doing the cleaning that you need to know the ring size. Story 28. Does he like surprises? Does he wear rings? Surprising people is not always a great idea. Story 29. Complain about the size of your fingers and ask him to compare hands with you. Then mention how much bigger his hands are or if they are the same size. Say that you want to measure to compare. After you find out, make another joke about his hands. Immediately after, ask him about a topic he is interested in, and he will completely forget about the previous topic and talk to you for 20 minutes. He won't even remember it a week later. Story 30. You can buy a pack of burger rings and pretend to get him a ring, then find one that fits. Then do a swap, hide it, and take that to the jeweler because that's exactly what I did for my wife. Story 31. Start a conversation about jewelry. It's easiest if you pass a jewelry store or see an ad. Use that as your opening so it doesn't seem like you are actively planning something. Lead the conversation into ring resizing. If you don't have a story about resizing, make one up. Then casually ask for their size. This way, it seems like random curiosity and not like you are planning something. Story 32. What I did was walk him into a jeweler, since he likes to buy items like rings and bracelets. While he was busy looking at something, I made eye contact with one of the staff, pointed at him, and then pointed at my ring finger. It would have been easier if I had gone to the store ahead of time and explained, but the staff member at the counter knew exactly what I was saying and worked her sales magic. She found out his ring size by doing a full sizing for all our fingers, and I made a mental note of his size. Story 33. On a scale of 1 to 10, how fat are your fingers? Use with caution, especially if you have a playful relationship. Story 34. Take him shopping for trinkets. Find a plastic ring that fits him. Buy it for fun. Take it to the jeweler to get it measured. Story 35. My ex-wife said she wanted to get herself a ring but didn't know what size she was. So she bought a ring measuring tool and said, "Look how cool this is. I got it from a charity shop." She asked everyone to try it on, but it turns out it wasn't for her. It was just a way to get me to try it on. I guess you could act like it's a genuine question for the group or pretend it's for you and be curious about his size. Story 36. Go to an event with many vendors and find one that makes rings. Start trying them on and put them on each of his fingers to see what fits and how they look. Then buy one that he likes and that fits. Story 37. Just tie a string around his finger while he is playing a video game. Tell him you need it for a completely crazy reason. I promise he won't catch on. Story 38. If he wears any other rings, you can wait until he takes one off and sneak away with it to measure. If for some reason you don't have access to precision calipers, trace the inside of the ring against a piece of paper and bring it to the jewelry store. They will have measuring devices. Story 39. My friend taught me to read palms. Would you let me read yours? It's a detailed process that involves your palm, wrist, and fingers, as well as their proportions to one another. Let's get started. Story 40. Your ring finger is half the circumference of your penis. Can I measure both to see if that's true? You will receive a favor in return. Story 41. Blue Nile and other online diamond retailers will send you free ring size tools. Order one and then check his size while he is sleeping. Story 42. When I wanted to propose to my now wife, I told her I wanted to get her a nice pair of custom-fit gloves for Christmas, so I needed to measure her hands. I measured the circumference of her palm, her finger length, and the girth of her fingers. Make sure to measure the correct hand. I mistakenly measured her right, dominant hand, and the ring I got ended up being too large for her left hand. Story 43. Order a free or inexpensive ring sizer. You can play around with it on your fingers, and when he shows interest, say, "Hey, you should try it." You could mention that you are figuring out your size to buy yourself a ring. I did this with my boyfriend last week. The sizer was one size smaller than my actual ring size, so you might want to test it on yourself as well to be sure. Story 44. When I was in college, I was in love with a woman who loved elephants. I printed and cut out a ring sizing tool I found online. After she fell asleep, I sized her finger and ordered the ring. Stealth level 100. Story 45. When I was going to buy an engagement ring for my wife, I made up a completely false statement. Did you know that most people's shoe size is the same as their ring size? This encourages them to share their ring size. Story 46. Use a piece of paper to mark the circumference after wrapping it around his finger while he is sleeping. Story 47. Here's a pro tip. Many men do not like wearing rings. Many of us use our hands to do things, and rings can be uncomfortable. Additionally, they can create a perception of being controlled. However, you should know that wearing a ring can be attractive to some women, as it might signal a willingness for a casual relationship. Story 48. Get one of those rings that are not a full circle and can be adjusted. On Sunday afternoon, while watching movies with your head on his lap, put the ring on the second joint of his finger, which is usually the thicker part. Adjust it, then remove it and place the ring in your pocket. Now you have your ring size. Story 49. If he already has a ring, measure it to find the size. You can use a ring sizer or another measuring device. If he doesn't have a ring, are you sure he likes them? Many guys do not prefer wearing jewelry. Story 50. Say, I heard the ring size is the same as the shoe size. Ask for his shoe size, then measure the finger to prove or disprove this. You should also do it for yourself as part of the trick. Now that I think of it, my wife's ring size is the same. Story 51. One day when you're out shopping, preferably at a mall with a jewelry store, go window shopping. Then, for fun, get your ring finger sized. While getting your finger sized, ask him if he knows his finger size. If yes, now you know. If no, suggest that he get his finger sized since you're already there. Story 52. Say you were considering buying some gloves, but you are worried about the size. Can you measure your finger to ensure you are measuring it correctly? You will need to provide context such as glove shopping sites and measuring instructions. 2 of my 3 friends still wonder how I got their measurements. Story 53. Does he wear rings at all? If he doesn't, he likely does not really want one or to wear one. If he does wear rings, take one and take it to a jeweler. Story 54, 184 comments, and no one has suggested using an hour ring for measurement yet. Order the measurement kit or visit a store like Best Buy that has them on display to determine his ring size. Story 55. Go to an academy or a store that sells silicone rings. They usually have a sizing chart available. Saturday after lunchtime is the busiest time, so the store may be crowded. While waiting in line, you can check your size and bet him dinner that you can guess his size. Story 56. If he already has a ring, make a drawing of the interior and take it to the store. This should get you close. Story 57. Tell him something he needs to remember and tie a string around his finger as a reminder. Later, take the string to the jeweler and compare it to the sizing rings. Story 58. Depending on whether you're close to an engagement, you can take him to a jeweler to show him your ring preferences and get his size while you are there. He would just assume it's related to the engagement, not a surprise for him. Story 59. Buy a ring size kit from Amazon for about $5 to $10. Wait until he is asleep and check his size. You could also get one and create a story saying you got the ring size kit to find out your other finger sizes, and jokingly ask him to try some on. Story 60. Take him to a store that sells our rings with a display. The display shows ring sizes. Most people will try it on simply because they can. Story 61. Say you are learning to knit. Tie the yarn to your finger and then pinch it off. Then say, "Okay, your turn," and let him try. When he pinches his off, say, "No, no, no, that's not right," and take it from him. Distract him with other knitting items while keeping his loop pinched, and eventually walk away. Story 62. To find the right ring size for a man, look up the average men's weight and ring size. Purchase a ring in that size, and get it resized if necessary. Story 63. Take a picture of your hand on top of his, showing the finger where you want the ring. Any jeweler will be able to make a close estimate after measuring your finger next to his in the picture. Story 64. Tell him you learned that your finger is as long as it is wide. Measure several fingers and see if it is true. Story 65. Take a thread and complete one rotation, marking exactly the fit of your finger. Take the thread to the jeweler, and he will make the ring that fits perfectly. Story 66. Work out your clench strength required. Go to a jeweler, and use the jeweler's clenchometer for accurate measurement. It's a common and easy-to-solve problem. Story 67. Visit a jewelry store and express your interest in looking at rings for yourself, just for fun. Ask the salesperson if they know their ring size as part of the conversation. They may not know. Suggest trying on a ring sizer. Alternatively, you can say you need to check your size and ask them to do the same. Story 68. All of these people are making it difficult. Cut 2 strips of paper. I read that your finger circumference is the same length as your nose. Then you both measure your fingers against your noses, have a laugh, and keep the papers. Story 69. The real problem is trying to find her ring size without her knowing you plan on proposing. Story 70. Find the biggest ring you have and make a joke about how huge it looks on your finger. Then try to playfully put it on his. Use that ring as a guide. Alternatively, you could consider a different playful suggestion. Story 71. Just stick a finger in while you are down there. If that doesn't work, convince him that he needs a prostate exam and ask the doctor afterward. Story 72. Just spend time with him and use a ring size tool that you can find for free from many online jewelers. I'm assuming you have a ring in mind, so you can simply ask them for one. Have some fun together in a way that distracts from what you are doing. Or just wait until he is sound asleep. Story 73. Accidentally spill some sauce on your finger. Immediately lick it and put it in your mouth. Remember the size of your mouth. Go to the jewelry store. Story 74. Buy an affordable vernier caliper. Find a reason to blindfold him. Measure his finger. Alternatively, take a photo of the finger with a reference for scale, such as a coin. Story 75. We were at the mall, and I pulled her into a jewelry store to look at watches. I pretended to show interest in a ring, and we both got sized. She didn't suspect a thing. Of course, I promptly forgot the sizing and had to find another excuse. I decided to buy matching puzzle rings at the Renaissance Festival, which worked perfectly since our wedding rings are simply nicer bejeweled versions of the originals from Norm Green, who sells puzzle rings and astrolabes at various Renaissance festivals across the country. Story 76. This is the trick I used once. I took the girl I was seeing at the time window shopping. I excused myself to the restroom, but went over to the jewelry section and told the staff that I wanted to buy a ring for my girlfriend and asked if they could help me figure out the size. They were more than willing to assist. During our window shopping, we came back to the jewelry section, and the staff approached us, asking if we were looking for something. We said we were just browsing, but they took it upon themselves to suggest some fashionable rings that they thought would look good on her. In the process, they sized her up while I remembered the details mentally. Story 77. Go shopping with him for accessories. Try different options and let him try some as well. Take notes and return without making any purchases. Engage in other activities like playing video games so he forgets. Now focus on your own tasks. Story 78. Say you read somewhere that the length of his penis is equal to the circumference of your chosen finger multiplied by 5, or 2 if you don't want to offend him. Story 79. Have a good idea of his hand size in comparison and go to a jeweler. They may ask what he does for a living, which hand he writes with, etc. Just be sure to know those types of answers. Story 80. You can buy a ring sizer online and size the finger while he is asleep. However, if he does not have a ring or does not wear any, it might indicate that rings are not his preference. Alternatively, you can tie a string around his finger and measure from there, and hopefully they can make it smaller if necessary. Good luck. Story 81. When he's sitting in a chair or sofa, sit on top of him and hold his hands. Be amazed at how big his hands are. You can compare then, and now you're free to do what you want. Close the deal with intimacy. Story 82. Measure for gloves by measuring multiple fingers. Keep it a surprise so he can't see yet. You can also create plaster cast imprints of both your hands in different ways. Make one imprint of the two of you holding hands and another of just his hands sticking out. It will be cute and fun, and a clever way to get his finger size. Story 83. Go to the mall. Tell him you want to look at jewelry. Get your ring measured first. This will let him know your size. Then say, "Hey, I wonder how big your ring size is because your hands are much bigger than mine." Story 84. Buy an adjustable ring. Playfully ask your boyfriend to wear it under the pretense that it is yours and you want to compare finger sizes. Then take it to the ring store or measure it yourself. Story 85. Many people I know have matching shoe and ring sizes, although I am unsure if it is a steadfast rule. Thicker, wider bands are typically 1 or 2 sizes larger, based on my experience. Story 86. Men's ring sizes typically range from 8 to 14, with an average size of 10. The most common sizes are between 8 and 12. Ring sizes are represented numerically and correspond to the inner circumference of the ring in millimeters. I have an idea. Get some inexpensive silver rings and say you bought them, but they are too big. Have him try them on. Story 87. A practical idea. Get a ring gauge from a jewelry store or online. Start a conversation by showing him one of your rings, asking how he likes it, and sharing how you got it. Then, tell a story about how you had a ring resized. Show him the gauge and explain how your size changed. Suggest checking his size in a playful, fun way. Keep the conversation brief to avoid raising suspicion, allowing time for it to fade from his memory. When you present him with the ring, he will recall the initial interaction, which will strengthen your connection. Creating memories is essential for building a relationship, and this could be one of those moments if you can pull it off. Story 88. Go watch the Jenna Marbles video with him and tell him you want to make a mold of your hands and his in funny positions. Story 89. Sweetheart, order a ring sizer online. When he is sleeping, try them on, but be careful not to get them stuck. Alternatively, you can tie a piece of dental floss around his finger and take it to the jewelry store. Good luck. Story 90. I honestly don't know many men who would actually want a ring. Even wedding rings are worn to make our partners happy. Most of us prefer silicone ones because they are inexpensive in case we lose them. They aren't uncomfortable at the gym, and they are safe to wear while working. But if this is something he would want, just ask. Surprises are nice, but I would hate to see a lot of effort and money go to waste. I'm sure he would feel the same way. If that approach doesn't work for you, order a set of size guides online and hope he is a heavy sleeper. Or take a ring he already owns and check its size at the jewelry store. Story 91. It shouldn't be hard. Just put a little bit of string around his finger and then measure the string. Story 92. Have a date night activity where you make a plaster cast of both of your hands or just individual hands. Use the cast to estimate ring size. Story 93. Go to an affordable jewelry store with him. Tell him you want to buy a ring as a gift for your mom or aunt. While you are there, ask him if he knows his ring size. Story 94. Whip out all the measuring tools and measure your own dimensions, such as ring size, arm length, waist, shirt size, and shoe sizes. Hand him 2 sheets of paper, one with all your measurements and one with all the corresponding blank spaces for his measurements. Also, provide him with all the measuring tools. You have 45 minutes. Go! Call for me if you need assistance. Now you'll have all his measurements and he'll have all of yours. He will probably buy you lingerie first, then some clothes he thinks you'll like. If you're together long enough, he will also use your ring size measurement. Story 95. Find out his glove size, then use the glove to determine the ring size. Finding the glove size is much less obvious than finding the ring size. Story 96. Buy a ring sizer, keep it hidden, and test the fit while sleeping. They are inexpensive, so there is no need to have it done professionally. Story 97. Buy a ring size kit for yourself, open it, and use it in front of him. The curiosity will get the best of him. Story 98. You could take the size of your boyfriend's finger so you can get him a ring. I hope he will be happy. Story 99. Pick up objects you think might fit on his finger and pretend to play with them to encourage him to interact. The next time you have drinks with straw wrappers, you can playfully tie a wrapper around his finger. Casually collect it when the food arrives. Story 100. Get him to touch you and remember what it feels like. Then find household objects and use them until it feels the same. Finally, take a quick measurement. Story 101. Maybe just don't. Rings on men who aren't Italian and wear tracksuits aren't that great. If you want to get him rings, consider nipple rings for yourself that have his name on them. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.